Hi, this is Phil Parker, and what I'd like to do is talk about another widget. In this case, the widget involves portfolio analysis. Now, many different disciplines use portfolios. In finance, we trade off risk versus return, and we create financial stock market portfolios. In strategy, the typical portfolios we do are often revolving around a geography, a segment, a product, or some other alternatives that management faces. I like discussing portfolio in the context of machine learning and AI because I often ask people to brainstorm ideas. Take all the possible ideas you can come up with for AI and then put it in a portfolio. Evaluate each of those ideas on two dimensions. One dimension might be ease to implement, and the other one might be, returns to shareholders. And then simply plot that on a 2x2 matrix. That process is data reduction. And so the idea of doing data reduction is a natural thing in strategy. I typically will talk about portfolios right before we go into factor analysis, etc. Because in the good old days, when Boston Consulting Group had the growth share matrix, McKinsey came along and said, there's more than two things that go into decision making. There's not just growth, there's not just market share, there's other things as well that determine a company's strategy. The legal issues, the ethical issues, technology, people, human resources, many things go into making choices about what firms do. Portfolio analysis or composite portfolios is in fact a human-based methodology for data reduction or unsupervised machine learning. So this widget is very simple. Simply choose whether you'd like to study a geography, do a geographic portfolio, a segment portfolio, or a product portfolio. Trading off and understanding how we might prioritize those different things or activities, and I put the word other there. Now, in this case, I decided to do a geography portfolio to illustrate. Simply fill in all the geographies that you might be considering. Let's say you're entering a market, and let's say I'm a company who is located in Canada, and they want to expand internationally, for example. So where should they expand internationally? A Canadian firm. And I've listed a bunch of countries here: Spain, France, China, India, Brazil, etc. Well, how important would those countries be to, let's say, increasing shareholder value as perceived by the market? And let's make that the bubble size. 1 is low and 9 is far. Now, this is managers basically creating an index of some sort. So 1 is low and 9 is high. So now we have the importance of these markets in terms of their size. So a large bubble, very big impact on market cap or on stock market prices. A small bubble, maybe a lot less so. And we simply evaluate that. Okay, so after those two steps, we then go to the actual dimensions themselves. I call the first one this supply dimension. How easy is it to enter that market? Now, China, very difficult because it's spread so geographically wide, and there's very few cities that are concentrated where there's a large percent of the total population present. Not so true in South Korea, much easier to penetrate. So ease, high ease is 9, low ease is 1. Perhaps we have other words like feasibility, accessibility. You can type in whatever words you would like there. And then next, the demand. How much latent potential there is. It may be easy to enter a market, but there's no latent potential. So again, 1 is low, 9 is high. This is very similar to the McKinsey composite portfolio approach. And you simply evaluate the alternatives. Now, I will often ask people to do this in a brainstorming exercise, typically about 45 minutes long, where executives will think about all these geographic alternatives they have, or maybe product alternatives, or market segment alternatives. And they quickly fill in this form, they hit calculate, and up comes a plot of the portfolio matrix. Now, in this case, the portfolio matrix that I'm showing is largely, UK is probably the number 1 for a Canadian company to go for, and then maybe Italy, France, Brazil, Japan, China, the USA, and maybe not so easily Turkey or Spain, Mexico, Egypt, etc. So just again, a little brainstorming exercise. This is data reduction methodology when humans do it. When machines do it, again, you're going to feed data into it and it'll automatically generate portfolios for you. And I like showing this, again, to management so that they understand that we're not only constantly doing data reductions as humans and we can have machines do that instead of us. But we can use this ourselves to prioritize projects in the field of artificial intelligence, which ones are easy to do and which ones have the highest market potential. So that's an introduction to this widget. Play around with it. It's a very quick and dirty methodology, and it gives you a good insight into how human beings do data reduction. Bye-bye now.